Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spill the D. I'm Rick, one of your hosts, and I'm joined, as always, with my phantasmic co-host, Gina. How are you?
Phantasmic. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. How are you? That threw me off. I'm doing great. Thank
Tried to do a
you.
little play on words there.
I love that. Why'd you do that? Because we're talking about Phantasmic.
Yes,
Sort of.
kind of. It's
Kind
in
of.
the episode.
It is in the episode. Today we are talking about things that Disneyland does better than Walt Disney World and vice versa, depending on how much time we have. So I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, for those that don't know, we just recently got back from our first trip to Disneyland, California, and we're still talking about it. It was, 3 weeks ago now that we got back? Because we did the episode with Bruce and then our recap episode,
Yeah,
and
this will
then
be
this
the
one. So, yeah,
third.
three.
Yep.
So about 3 weeks ago, we're still riding the high of it. We both had a great time, but there's always things that can be done better,
This is true.
and we're going to tell you what they are today.
And for this episode, this is going completely based off of our experience that
Yes.
week that we were there.
Yeah.
I even texted the people we were with and said, like, based off of that week, because they've been going a million times. So I was like, based off that week, what do you think Disneyland does better than Walt Disney World and vice versa? So I'm
Yeah.
very excited to share what we came up with and hear you guys message us on Instagram, email us, whatever you want to do, and let us know if you agree with what we are saying or not. We are at Spility Podcast on Instagram, Spility Pod on TikTok, or you can email us, spilitypod@gmail.com. I want to hear your argument and if you think we're wrong, or if maybe we just had a weird one-off experience and this is inaccurate.
Yeah, could be.
But let's get right into it.
Yeah, we don't have any news this week, so we can just get right into the episode. And what do you want to start with, Disneyland or Disney World does better?
I think I want to start. I would like to start with what Disneyland does better because I think that that'll
Okay.
sound less complaining.
Okay.
Because I don't want to sound like we're complaining about Disneyland. It's just when you compare Disneyland to Disney World. But so I
That's
think
fair.
we should start with what Disneyland does better
Okay.
and go from there. It's also the shorter list. We'll be able to gauge how much time we have left for the episode.
Yeah. So, first thing that we decided that Disneyland does better, again, just based off our experience, is characters and live entertainment. So, Disney World does have a good amount of live entertainment as far as shows are concerned, in buildings and some of the outside shows that they have. However, Disneyland has those, and then they also have other small shows. So, for example, one of the main areas where they have a lot of mini shows going on during the day is Avengers Campus, which obviously they don't have in Walt Disney World. So that kind of puts them at a disadvantage in Walt Disney World to begin with. But throughout the day, there was multiple small like skit type things going on in Avengers Campus, um, as one of the main things.
Yeah, and that's something that happens just all around the park.
Mhm.
And we were there during a heat wave. It hit 109 at the high for the week that we were there.
Yeah.
And even with that, I still saw more characters walking around the park than you see at Walt Disney World
Yeah.
just walking around. Like Disney World has the lines to get in for characters, but this was just characters walking around meeting and greeting. And I know for a fact that it was less than what it normally is. Like it was confirmed. Disney made announcements that different shows were getting canceled because of the heat. So even with it being less than what it normally is, the amount of characters we saw was still pretty high. So it really made me agree with everyone who says that Disneyland they do a much better job with characters, with those little pop-up entertainment things. And it's funny because it's a lot of things Disney World used to do.
Yeah.
Growing up, Disney World used to have characters walking around like that. And even pre-COVID, they did do what they call the streetmosphere, which would just be like actors walking around talking to you on Main Street or on Sunset Boulevard,
Yeah.
and they kind of moved away from that. It's still there a little bit. There are still plenty of areas where there are live entertainment, don't get me wrong. It's just maybe for every one that there is at Walt Disney World, I felt like there was 2 to 3 at Disneyland.
Yeah, and the other thing to bounce off of the characters walking around and being around the park, the places where there was spots to meet characters, like set up lines to meet characters, were much shorter because of the fact that you could see characters. I'm assuming it's because of the fact that you could see characters around the park, so people didn't feel the need to wait in line as much. I mean, we saw characters, like you said, just all around the park. There was characters in pretty much every area at some point.
Yeah, and also, I mean, what you're saying, it's a little hard to judge on that because we did have a very slow week as far as crowds went.
Yeah,
So it definitely could have been longer otherwise.
that's true.
But from what we saw, the lines weren't that bad to meet them. Probably comparable to some characters at Walt Disney World. Not all characters, but some characters. The Mickey line, extremely short compared to the Mickey line at Walt Disney World. But like the Daisy line was about what the Daisy line would be. So a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But that's definitely somewhere where we think that Disneyland does beat Disney World. I'll admit it. I'm a Disney World girl through and through, but I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we actually have one more thing for in the park. For things that Disneyland like sincerely does better.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the Lightning Lane usage of Disneyland. So what I mean by that is not every ride uses Lightning Lane at Disneyland. And I have said before and gotten torn apart online, but that's okay. I don't care. Tear me apart all you want. I have said before that I do think that it would be more efficient for the majority of guests if Lightning Lane was gone.
Yeah.
I still stand by it. I'm not saying it'd be efficient for the individual person, but it would be an individual for the group of guests as a whole.
Yeah.
And Disneyland kind of proved me right because for smaller rides, like say in Fantasyland, where they don't really have the space to use Lightning Lane, they weren't built for that.
Yeah.
They don't use it. And their lines move so fast.
Yeah.
Insanely fast. Peter Pan, I didn't see go above 40.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're waiting in those lines that could be longer, they don't feel longer. Like you just keep walking, so it doesn't matter.
Time,
yeah, so like even seeing Snow White Scary Adventures get to 10 minutes, like you just keep walking. So I would say their Lightning Lane usage, like the rides that they choose to use it for, it definitely makes a difference. And I would say that is something that is done better, that it's not an option for every ride. Yeah. Could that be done at Walt Disney World? I don't know, because I think people from, this is just my assumption and from what I have gathered, is that Disneyland is definitely a lot more locals. So I think less people are purchasing Lightning Lane.
Yes.
Because they're coming all the time.
Yeah.
That's not the experience at Walt Disney World. It's more people who this is a once in a lifetime, maybe, or once a year trip, who are willing to put the extra money out. They're not local to Walt Disney World. They're willing to shell out the money for Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
So would that work? I don't know, because that's taking away some of the options. It might need to be an all or nothing thing, but for Disneyland, I think that it worked beautifully. So I am putting it in the Disneyland does this better category.
I agree. It felt like the rides that didn't have Lightning Lane just kept moving, and you could tell, like, you could feel the difference for the rides that did have Lightning Lane when you didn't have it.
Yes.
It was very quick when you did have Lightning Lane. Like when we had Lightning Lane, we waited no more than 5 minutes for any ride that we had Lightning Lane for. But when we rode a ride that we didn't have a Lightning Lane for, it was noticeable how much longer the wait was.
Yes, absolutely.
So I completely agree that they did it better there.
Yeah, definitely. And it made it so much nicer for when you were trying to fill time between your Lightning Lane selection. When you're like, oh, I have 2 hours until my next ride. Cool. I'm going to go ride rides that don't give a Lightning Lane option.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do to kill time, especially because due to weather, there wasn't as much live entertainment and shows. So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. The proximity of good neighbor hotels. This also was going to kind of fall in the Walt Disney World does better category as well. But how I'm wording this is for Disneyland, the option of affordable non-Disney hotels within walking distance of Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. Amazing.
Yes. Now keep in mind, Disneyland isn't on its own county basically. It's not on its own property. Like it's not on its own large piece of land. It's right in the middle of the city. So
dead center behind.
There are more options close by because of the fact that you're right in the city. But I'm assuming this is where you're going with it as far as Walt Disney World is concerned. If you're at the right spot near Walt Disney World, such as Disney Springs, then there are options there as well.
Yes. But Disneyland's
has a lot.
Has a lot.
Yes.
A crazy amount. Even just looking up if you wanted to stay with one of the, like, maybe you are a Marriott member, like their royalty programs that they have. Maybe you have the Marriott Vacation Club, something like that, and you only want to do Marriott. Just within a few miles, there's about 5 to 6 Marriotts within a mile, like that you could walk to Disneyland. So it is a crazy amount of good neighbor hotel options, and I'm saying good neighbor, like these are the options that like Disney recommends.
Yeah.
Are all so close that as far as saving money and making it affordable, that definitely is somewhere that it has the advantage of having those options where it's nice and close for you. Where you don't have to take a bus, you don't have to take a shuttle. And that actually goes into our last one for it, which is the walkability.
Yeah, you can walk literally anywhere. I mean, we had the, why am I blanking on what it's called? Where you can jump from park to park.
Park hopper. Where you can hop from park to park.
You can hop from park to park. We had the park hopper, and we had dinner reservation or lunch reservations at around 3:00 one day, and we had a lightning lane in the other park around 1:00. We were able to hop over to the other park, go get on the ride, and be back all significantly before our reservation at 3, because the way the parks are set up is there's the front of one park about 100 yards and then the front of the other park. They're very close together, so the parks in general are very walkable. And then going back to the hotels, those are also very walkable. We stayed at a Marriott about a half a mile away, which we walked probably, I would say, half the time to get to and from the park areas. And it wasn't that bad of a walk. It was pretty simple. And like I said, once you get to the parks are, people say the parks are a little bit smaller. I didn't feel like they were that much smaller than the regular Walt Disney World parks.
I felt like people told us so many times how much smaller that they were that once we actually got there, we were like, okay, this is not as small as everyone says.
It didn't feel as small.
No, it didn't feel nearly as small as everybody makes it out to be. Overall, the property was smaller, definitely, but I didn't feel like it was like anything to write home and be like, this is the world's smallest Disney. It wasn't, and it probably didn't help that we went to Disneyland Paris, which was smaller.
Yeah.
So, like, Disneyland Paris, I'm pretty sure was smaller than Disneyland in California.
It definitely was.
Yeah, so I didn't really think it was that small compared to Magic Kingdom or anything.
But still, you could get from one end of one park to the other end of the other park in like 20 minutes, maybe, walking. So, like, they're very walkable, and it's very nice. I do enjoy that. It's, especially with Park Hopper, it's nice to be able to just, I want to do this in the other park, so I'm going to go do that real quick, and then I'll be right back.
True. Very true. Yeah, so that's kind of a pro and a con for Disneyland. But I'm going to say they win on walkability. However, it is not in a great area.
No, it is not.
It's not the best streets to be walking on. You're going to be fine. It's fine. But, like, you'll realize as you're walking, and be like, okay, this is not, it's not like walking to your hotel from Disney Springs to the Hilton there. It's definitely a different experience. So, things to keep in mind when you are planning.
We were half a mile away. Our Uber was $6. It's not that bad.
It really wasn't that bad.
If you need to Uber home, Uber home. If you don't feel safe, then that's fine.
They had a shuttle. It's a trolley that goes around Anaheim, and it has a few different, like, stops that it'll make. We were trolley number 6, so if we got on, there'd be like 5 to 10 hotels that it would stop at that all were on the number 6 line. That was an option. It was $6 per person, but, like, the Uber was $6 total.
Yeah.
So think about that. If that's worth it for you, maybe if it's just you, that $6 per person could be worth it. If you're splitting an Uber, split the Uber, you know? So things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of anything. I was trying all day. Didn't you have something with food that you thought Disneyland did better?
Snacks.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had that Walt Disney World does non-snack options better. But I think that Disneyland has better snack options, excluding popcorn.
Okay. Because you can't get the bucket?
Yeah, because you can't do the refills with the bucket. Yeah.
That's fair. But just their grab-and-go snacks, like the corn.
Well, yeah. Well, there's the corn, and just, like, in general, like, the snacks looked better, tasted better, and they had more variety of small things that you could get that weren't just pretzels and ice cream bars and stuff like that. I feel like Disney World has a lot of, it's either you're getting a pretzel or an ice cream, or maybe like the pizza rolls or something like that, the spring rolls, whereas Disneyland they had the Baymax bread, which we didn't end up getting, unfortunately, but they had the corn, they had the regular pretzels, ice cream, churros, all that stuff, and like I just felt like they had better options for little snacking foods.
Okay, that's fair. That's definitely fair because I feel like at Walt Disney World, if you're not in Epcot, sometimes when you want a snack, if you want something that's not like you said, the classic,
Yeah.
there will be random things here or there, but if you want something other than the pretzels, the popcorn, you almost have to get a meal and split it and
Yeah.
then make that into your snack. Like, oh cool, we're gonna split loaded French fries. But these loaded French fries are technically a meal.
Yeah.
Like this is a big thing of loaded fries that should be a meal for someone. This is not a one person snack unless you're in Epcot or sometimes Animal Kingdom's pretty good about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Disneyland definitely had more of those kind of options.
And like specifically in Cars Land was the main spot that I noticed it because they had all the cones set up.
the
and,
cozy cones,
like, all the cones. Yeah, they had like 4 or 5 different options of
They
things that you
had
could get at each of those.
pop cones. They had chili con carne. They had, come on, help me out. There was 5 of them.
I don't remember.
Pop cones. They were all punny.
Yeah.
Chili con carne, ice cream cones.
I don't remember what the other ones were.
I got 3. That's pretty good. 3 out of 5.
But yeah, they had all those, and then like I said, for those that don't know how Disneyland is set up, that's there, and then a 5-minute walk away is
San Francisco.
San Francisco, where they have a bunch of snack options. So I just feel like there's more smaller snack options, which not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm more of a small meal snack person, but I know a lot of people like just having a small snack every once in a while.
I do. That's me. I'm a lot of people.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about with Disneyland, because it just hit me. Thank goodness. I would have been so mad if it hit me later. I thought they did single rider lines better. I felt
that's your opinion.
Okay, not efficiency wise, based off of our Matterhorn experience where we waited twice as long for a single rider line. That can happen though, that's a risky take. More rides had the option of single rider than they did at Walt Disney World. At least it felt like it. I could be wrong, but it felt like we were given the opportunity more often than we were when we're at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I guess.
Now I'm questioning that. It felt like any ride.
I feel like most rides had the single rider option.
It felt like any ride that could have had one had it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes at Walt Disney World, you're like, why isn't there a single rider for this? This would be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like, if the ride could have it, it had it.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
I might actually sit down and do the math on that one later and calculate if I agree with myself or not. So let me know if you guys agree with me or not, because I haven't decided if I agree with myself. But off the top of the dome, I think Disneyland might have done single riders better.
Fair.
All right, now let's get into what Walt Disney World does better than Disneyland. We are Walt Disney World people. We are East Coasters. We go to Walt Disney World way more than we go to Disneyland. And there were some things that we are so used to at Walt Disney World that Disneyland just didn't live up to or didn't have as an option. So I'm really excited to share these with you. And a lot of them come back to Disneyland's technology.
Yes.
Disneyland did not have the technology that Walt Disney World has. It was not up to date. They do have Magic Bands now. They offer that. But their My Disney experience, like their Disney app, it's not nearly as good as Walt Disney World's is. You can't even become friends with people on it. You can't like link up to do your plans. So when we were trying to find plans, like setting up reservations and stuff, if one person booked it, it doesn't link to everybody the way that it does at Walt Disney World. No, like if I booked a dinner reservation for say there's 4 of us, I book it for 4 people. Mm-hmm. You don't get to put in who those 4 people are like you can on the Walt Disney World one.
You plus 3.
Yes. So if you were like, oh yeah, I have no plans at 3:00, but actually you do, you just didn't realize that I made us a reservation.
Gotcha.
So it's one of those things where it's fine. You can live without it, but it's a nice thing that Walt Disney World offers that makes it significantly better than Disneyland in my opinion.
Fair.
We also had an issue with My Disney Experience when it came to linking tickets.
Yes, we did have
We had to call because it wasn't just like you linked them to someone's account. It had to match a certain way, and it was a lot more complicated than it is for Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was a few extra hoops. And that's
Yeah.
why you should just use a travel agent from 407 and Beyond. Because we did. We went with Megan, one of the travel agents at 407 and Beyond, and she had to call. When I say we, I mean she.
We brought our agent with us.
We did one step up. We actually brought the agent.
That way we didn't have to do anything while we were there either.
No, we were like, Meg, you got this. Thank you.
But like Gina said, we are the official podcast of 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. They are a Disney and Universal Orlando travel agency. They book and plan destinations such as Disney World, Universal Orlando, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, and so many other things. Their services are 100% free, so you can go online right now to www.407vacations.com and get some help from their travel agents. They'll book your whole vacation, so you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is show up and have fun and make family memories.
Sounds like a plan to me. Fine, I'll book a vacation.
I don't have to.
This is your sign, everybody. If you were like, I just need one more thing to push me over into booking a Disney vacation or Universal, this was it.
But the next thing that we have that Walt Disney World does better is the Photo Pass.
Oh, yeah.
And what we mean by this is there is Photo Pass because there are not even close to as many Photo Pass photographers walking around Disneyland as there are Disney World.
No, there really isn't. One of the things that was really nice was when you bought Lightning Lane, you got PhotoPass included, so you didn't have to buy a memory maker like you do at Walt Disney World, and I thought that was going to be a great perk. It's really not.
Get your ride photos.
It's kind of like how you get your ride photos at Walt Disney World. Like that was really it. And even if you're wearing the Magic Band Plus, which is the technology they had there, you can't wear normal Magic Bands. It has to be Magic Band Plus. You still have to link your ride photo yourself with the code.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't link automatically like it does at Walt Disney World. So if you missed that, you missed your photos. And then on top of that, like Rick said, there's just not really many PhotoPass photographers. That is really nice on Main Street because they're not clogging up Main Street.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much of Main Street is just people taking photos until there isn't anyone there doing it. But sometimes you want that photo on Main Street or you want that photo in front of the castle. So the issue is the few people who are there taking photos have insane lines. It's crazy. Like at one point, there was only 2 photographers on all of Main Street and in front of the castle.
Yeah.
2 photographers. Like that's the lines to get them were insane. And they put so much time into the photos, which is great once it's your turn, but a nice long line when it's not. A very long line when it's not your turn. I also didn't think they were very efficient with their photos.
No, it felt like Walt Disney World PhotoPass photographers had more of a plan going into the photos.
Yeah, it was so weird. They were even around the pumpkin, the Mickey pumpkin. I guess they didn't want lines coming from both sides, but they had photographers, so you went to one side, took a photo, and then you went around and took photos on the backside. But the person on the backside was just standing there waiting for the other people. Yeah. So I walked past and they were like, do you want a photo? And I go, oh yeah, sure. And I went to hop in and they're like, cool, the line's back there. You have to do the other side first. And I was like, that just doesn't seem very efficient if I'm standing right here.
Yeah. And there's no line.
I get it. Like it probably, if you get a good thing going, is efficient, but they didn't have a good rhythm going. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm not a fan of the way they do PhotoPass here.
It felt weird.
Yeah, and around the park, there wasn't much like there is at Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World definitely does a better job of putting photographers out and about. There was PhotoPass whenever a character was doing a full-on stand there meet and greet, but not if a character was just walking, which is fair. That's how lines start. They're avoiding the lines. But it's just, Walt Disney World definitely does a better job of just putting them out and about and helping you get more family photos to take home with you as a souvenir.
Yeah, I also feel like, I don't know if it's just the type of rides that they have, but I felt like there was less ride photos or less ride photo opportunities.
Yeah, but you know what? But sometimes I think Walt Disney World just throws ride photos in. Like, do we really need a picture on Pirates of the Caribbean? Just a random picture of the boat you were in. So, like, yes, but also I don't know how much I agree with that.
Well, there are more.
Yeah.
Not that they're good, but there are more.
But there are more. You are getting more for your money. Yeah, I agree. Okay. You got me. I agree.
Some people might like their boat picture. Who knows?
Sometimes it's fun.
Maybe they have a whole family in their boat and they all smiled and made a face and did a peace sign.
That is a fun one. That is always a good one. When you don't know, though, and you're just in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just the dark part of the ride.
Yeah.
All right, while we're still on the technology trend, I want to talk about mobile orders.
Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. Disneyland offered more options for mobile order. They win there. More things you could mobile order. So, like, the corn dog cart, you can mobile order.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single cart at Walt Disney World that you can mobile order from. A cart?
No, that wasn't Disney World. That was Disneyland. Sorry, I was thinking the corn dog one.
Yeah, no. At Disney World, it's like all quick service. I can't think of any. Yeah, I'm like really racking my brain right now. So if it's a cart, you wait in line. So as far as options for mobile order goes, yeah, Disneyland, they win that one. Walt Disney World is so much more efficient with their mobile ordering.
You used it more than I did, but how so?
I felt like if I mobile ordered somewhere at Disneyland, it was so slow. Like, maybe it's because more people are using it. Like, maybe it's just more popular there. But, like, you would click that you were there, and it'd still be, like, 15 to 20 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was just so slow. We waited, like, 30 minutes for ice cream after we said we were there.
Gotcha. So not the act of mobile ordering.
No, that's exactly the same.
But the efficiency of mobile ordering.
The act of mobile ordering, totally the same as Walt Disney World.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought you were saying, and I was like, I didn't feel that much of a difference. But the efficiency of mobile ordering, you think, was lesser at Disneyland.
Yeah, they just don't have it down. Or it's because so many people use it.
Yeah.
It could definitely be that, but like that makes a difference, and you gotta be prepared for that. And I just didn't feel like they were prepared for that. And it could be a technology thing, could be a people thing that they weren't staffed for the amount of mobile orders. They didn't have people allocated to the right sections. But I just feel like Walt Disney World does mobile order way better.
That's fair. I get that.
Thank you.
Your ice cream wait was insane.
That was ridiculous.
I went all the way up and down Main Street in the time that it took you to get ice cream.
And then you came and sat there.
Yeah.
We got ice cream. We put that order in and said we were there like 15 minutes before park closed. And we were like, oh, cool. We can like get it and like go around and do something. I think we were there till like 30 minutes after park closed. Like 15 to 30 minutes after park closed. We were still there. You
guys went in to get ice cream. I went through every shop looking for a magnet, which was probably 5 or 6 shops, looking through the entire store and every store. And I made it back in time to sit there for 5 or 10 minutes before you guys got your ice cream.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then Meg was like, just going to hop in and grab an ice cream. I was like, good luck. And you know what? She ordered it. She didn't mobile order. She went to the counter and ordered it. And it was quicker. She still had to wait pretty long, but not as long as we had to wait.
Yeah.
So I just feel like Walt Disney World does mobile order better.
That's fair.
And I believe that is my last complaint as far as technology goes.
Okay.
Not complaint. My last observation.
Well, how about next we hear you complain about Run Disney and Disneyland?
I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation of what I think Walt Disney World does better.
Run Disney?
I do think Walt Disney World does Run Disney better.
Let's hear it.
But not to the extent that everyone made it sound like it was going to be. I went in with really low expectations for Run Disney and Disneyland.
Did you?
I did. Everyone always says how it's not as fun. There's not as much entertainment. There's not as much going on. I thought it was just as fun. I thought that there was a little bit less entertainment once you were out of the park, but they still did their best to put entertainment there and to put water stations and the food station. So, like, it really wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. I thought that the courses were great. A lot of through the park, as much as you could, which was great. It's as a run. Run Disney is like a level up on normal runs as far as organization goes and as far as the whole experience goes. And I felt like Run Disney at Disneyland was very similar to if I was doing a run in Philly.
Okay.
The organization wasn't as much there like it is at Walt Disney World. Kind of is a good thing and a bad thing. There wasn't as much like micromanaging like you kind of get in the corrals at Walt Disney World.
Okay.
But that micromanaging does make a difference on like their on the run, I guess. It doesn't like I didn't have a bad experience because of this. I'm just saying from my observation, I just felt like Walt Disney World was first of all, it was bigger. Significantly more people. But more organized. The expo is more organized. Everything just goes so much smoother than it did at Disneyland.
So I feel like the expo is pretty organized.
I felt like it was organized as well, but if I'm comparing which one
Okay.
is more organized and which one has more space, like think about how
Okay.
big the expo is at Disney World compared to Disneyland. Like
Yeah.
it's bigger, it's less stuffy, it's less you're less stuck. Like I just felt like it's a more I don't know. I guess organized isn't the word to use. When it comes to the run itself, Walt Disney World is more organized.
Okay.
When it comes to like getting into your corrals and things like that, Walt Disney World has it down. Disneyland, not unorganized, but not to the extent that Walt Disney World is. So when you put two Type A people together, one can be more Type A than the other. Disney World is more Type A than Disneyland when it comes to the runs.
Gotcha. Okay.
But maybe it's just the fact that you have so much more space at the Walt Disney World one.
Okay.
Than you do at Disneyland. But it definitely, you can feel the difference. There's more booths, there's more to see, there's more to do. Like, Run Disney at Disney World is just bigger.
Okay. I can't really speak too much on it because I've only ever done the Disneyland run, so.
But even just think about the amount of booths at the expo. Or food. Like, there was just more food options at the Walt Disney World
That's
Expo.
true.
I couldn't find something to eat at Disneyland.
That's true.
So, just little things. It's not a bad thing. They both were great. But long runs especially, Walt Disney World does do that better. It has more entertainment, but I was not disappointed like I thought I could be.
I think going through Angel Stadium helped.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think if we didn't do that, you'd be like, it was terrible.
Maybe. No, because I'm telling you, they had put like there was about 7 miles that was just on Anaheim Highway.
Mm-hmm.
There was like 3 bands out that were put there by Disney. Like they had Disney cast members with them. 3 water stations, 1 food station, Angel Stadium. That's pretty good. All that in 7 miles?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's not as much as what you have at Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World will put like 1 thing per mile minimum, really. The only time I remember there not being anything was when we ran through the dump area, but then there was a DJ at the end of it. Their music was facing the other way.
Gotcha.
So we didn't hear it like till we got to the end of it. But yeah, I just think Walt Disney World might do a little better on that. The prices of Walt Disney World are cheaper than Disneyland with Run Disney.
That I wouldn't have seen a difference in.
Right? So for the Dopey Challenge, paid a little over $600 after tax. That's
5K, 10K, half and full.
Yeah, so 4 runs. For the Halloween Half Marathon Thrills and Chills Challenge,
Which was 10K half.
paid a little over $400.
So for an extra 200, you got a 5K and a full marathon.
And a full marathon. A full marathon usually is like $150 to over $200 somewhere. Yeah. So like for a little extra more, you got a full marathon and a 5K. So price-wise, Walt Disney World somehow managed to win that one.
Somehow, I
don't know how, but they managed.
No one saw that one
Run
coming.
Disney is cheaper at Walt Disney World. Well, Florida is significantly cheaper than California, so.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, next up, we kind of talked about this already in the Disneyland section, but I thought non-snack foods, besides popcorn, were better in Walt Disney World. So the quick service, like regular dining options, I thought were better. Better tasting, first of all, and better variety.
At Walt Disney World?
At Walt Disney World,
Okay.
yeah. I feel like Disneyland had mostly not generic stuff. They had a lot of stuff that they tried to be fancy with, I feel like, and not really much of it worked out, in my opinion.
I felt like Disneyland was either generic theme park food or Mexican food.
That's right. The Mexican food was really good.
Any Mexican food I got, I wasn't disappointed.
Besides that, there wasn't really anything better, in my opinion, than in Walt Disney World. Besides the popcorn, because the popcorn, like I said, you can get refills. But I think in Walt Disney World, the snacks are more generic, so that you have more of just the pretzels, the popcorn, and the ice cream. But you have more options of food. And Epcot really helps out with this one, with all of the countries and everything. But just in general around the parks, I feel like there's better food options.
Mm-hmm. More variety.
Disneyland, yeah.
I agree with that.
So
I do agree with that. I didn't think I was going to agree with that, but I do agree with that. Disneyland quick service, I was a little with.
Mhm.
But I wasn't disappointed in anything that I got. But I remember at one point looking for something and nothing was speaking to me. It was also over 100 degrees, so maybe that was why.
Yeah.
But there was just like nothing that I wanted. And then, like you said, they were trying to be fancy. So at one point I was like, I just want chicken fingers.
Yeah.
And I could not find normal chicken fingers.
Yeah. Well, like I got a flatbread when you guys were riding Alice. I got a flatbread like pizza thing, and they just had so much random stuff on it, and there's like brown sugar on it or something.
Ooh.
It was like, but it wasn't that great.
Oh.
And I was just like, like the whole time I was eating it, I was like, I'd much rather just be eating a pizza from Pinocchio Village House right now, like as
Okay.
opposed to what I have in my hand right now. But like this is the closest thing I could find to actual filling food at the moment.
Okay. That's fair. I respect that.
So
Sounds like it would have been good though. Okay.
it was okay.
All right. I don't know how much I agree with this statement, but I'm gonna let you have it. We're gonna.
Okay.
I won't argue you because I didn't feel like I ate as much as I wanted to eat while we were there. So if that was from your opinion, I like it.
Okay.
Like I said, I had trouble finding just chicken fingers at one point. So
Yeah, well, the only chicken fingers I could find had sauce smothered on them. So
yeah. You know what I was upset about? Everyone talked up the corn dog and it was dry.
yeah, it wasn't the best corn dog.
I was so upset. I love corn dogs and I got it and I was so excited and it was such a dry corn dog. I was so upset.
I'm gonna get so much hate for this too, but the churro was overrated.
Oh, I thought the churro was delicious.
Yeah, the churro was overrated.
It was delicious. It was better than Walt Disney World's churro.
Better than Walt Disney World churro, but still overrated.
Yeah, no, it was definitely better than Walt Disney World's. Okay, we got 2 more pieces for you. Last one in the park, we have nighttime shows. And I'm actually just going to say shows in general. They didn't have many, like, amphitheater, you go sit down and watch a show kind of shows.
Yeah.
And then nighttime shows in general, they didn't have, like I said, they didn't have, like, the amphitheaters or anything like that set up. So there wasn't, like, really much as far as, it wasn't set up for nighttime shows. Like, Fantasmic, for instance, is just on Tom Sawyer Island and you sit outside on the ground.
We sat, on the walkway.
Which I didn't mind. I actually kind of liked it, but, like, I also like the bleacher seats. And I like having this reserved space because if we didn't do the Fantasmic dining package, I think as someone who it was my first time being there, I would have been overwhelmed trying to find a seat. Or trying to figure out where to go
100%.
to watch the show. And I don't think we would have had a good view of it.
Mm-hmm.
They also don't do the shows every night. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either.
Like, there aren't fireworks every night. It depends on the night. And then it also depends which fireworks show you're getting. So, like, it's Halloween time, so you're getting the Halloween fireworks, which at Walt Disney World, they only do that on, like, Halloween party nights.
Yeah.
But this is just, like, here's the Halloween fireworks. And it's just not set up the same. And then the other thing is because of the locals, because it's mainly locals, people camp out at like 5 o'clock for these fireworks because they just come after work and sit there and wait for the fireworks. So that's really intimidating. But my big thing is how often they happen, the fact that they aren't every night, like that there's not spaces set up for other shows like Fantasmic or for them to put other shows out there. It's just they are just working with what they have.
We literally walked past the castle at like 5 o'clock, and there's people with blankets set up in front of the castle getting ready for fireworks. It was crazy.
Which, good for them. That's a long time to sit there, but do
long
your
time
thing.
to sit there.
It is really nice that Disneyland lets them too.
Yeah.
That is something really nice and something that I, like, if I was local, I would do. I get it.
Yeah.
You just send one person after work, they go and they sit there. Cool. Works out. And then everyone comes and joins them. That works out. It's not something I wouldn't do, so I can't even say anything. But, like, yeah, I think that Walt Disney World does a better job of just nighttime shows every night. It's one of those perks of it being more tourists and less locals.
Yep. So the last thing that we have that Walt Disney World does better is hotel options. So they have different tiers of their hotels. So all of Disneyland hotels are the same tier, kind of, as far as prices are concerned.
Like, if you were comparing a Disneyland hotel to a Walt Disney World hotel, price-wise, they're all deluxe.
Yeah.
The week that we were there, the cheapest we could find per night was like $445 per night. And Walt Disney World has hotels starting at like $150 usually. Yeah. So it really just prices people out. And they have all of those good neighbor hotels right down the street. So it's fine. There are other options. But I like that Walt Disney World gives options for every price range to be able to come and stay there.
And still stay on Disney property or at a Disney World hotel.
Yeah, make it a full Disney
Mhm.
experience. I think Walt Disney World does significantly better with Disneyland than
Yeah.
Disneyland for this one, because Disneyland could do it if they wanted to. There is some space there.
A little bit,
Could
yeah.
have made the Pixar Hotel cheaper if they wanted to. They didn't want to.
Yeah.
Fair. People will pay it. It was sold out while we were there, but still.
I do like the option of being able to go for a moderate or a value resort at Walt Disney World if you want to.
Yeah, makes it more affordable so that everyone can play. For there's that early morning magic where you want to get in the park 30 minutes earlier.
Exactly.
Want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $4.45 a night.
Yeah. No,
minimum.
Not worth it. Not worth it for that.
No, I don't think so. Proximity wise, it is very close, but there are good neighbor hotels that are just as close
Yep.
for a fraction of the price.
Mhm.
So Walt Disney World definitely wins on that one, especially when you consider the fact that Walt Disney World, everything is in its own property. So by paying that $150 to whatever per night, you're also getting so much closer to the parks than you are when you're staying with most good neighbor hotels.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney World definitely wins on that one.
Mhm. I think overall, it's pretty even, to be honest. Like you said that you thought we had more stuff that Walt Disney World does better, but I think for the most part, it's pretty even.
I don't know. I still think we had more for what Walt Disney World does better. If you summed a lot of them up to just technology, then it might be even. But we broke them up. My Disney Experience,
Okay.
Photo Pass, mobile orders. But yeah, if you kind of tied them together, maybe.
Okay.
Are you a Disneyland dude or a Walt Disney World?
I don't know. I like Disneyland. It was a lot of fun, but I am used to Walt Disney World. I think if I had to choose, I'm still going to Walt Disney World, but I'm not upset if a trip is planned for Disneyland.
I completely agree with that. I really do fully understand what everyone says when they say you like feel the magic at Disneyland.
Mhm.
You definitely do. And that it is a smaller area, but like it's still magic when you're in there, and you do feel that like Disney history.
Mhm.
You do. You feel that it was the prototype.
It feels older.
Yes.
It does feel older in a good
Mhm.
way, though. Not like
No, I agree.
yeah. It's not like
I didn't mean prototype in a bad way, but like,
no, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like it's not like it feels old as in like everything's rusty, but like you can tell that some of the rides were original, and you can tell that some of the rides were thought about when the park opened.
Yeah. Are you thinking about Mr. Toad's, where they drink and drive and then go to hell?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the moral of the story, Mr.
Yeah.
Toad's Wild Ride.
That is the moral of the story. So be safe out there. Oh, what about the castle? Which castle do you like better?
Oh, Walt Disney World.
You like
no
the
question.
itty bitty little
The one in
castle?
California is so small.
It's so tiny. But the walkthrough is cool.
Walkthrough was cool. I thought the walkthrough in Paris was better though.
Yeah, that's true. I just felt like the Disneyland castle looked like the toy version of the Walt Disney World castle. Like, and that's when I say prototype, that is really where I'm saying
Oh,
it,
yeah.
because you can tell like it was built, and then they said we could do better.
Yeah, it was.
So they built the Walt Disney World castle, and then they eventually built Storybook Castle.
Yeah, it's like the Beauty and the Beast castle at Walt Disney World, and then Disneyland, and then Cinderella's castle.
Yeah, that Beauty and the Beast one is bad. It's really bad. All right. We got anything else? Did I say if I'm Disney World, Disneyland? I did.
You said you agree with me, yeah.
Yeah, that like
That you're Disney World, but you're not upset if a trip is planned for Disneyland.
yes.
I will say this: the Incredicoaster is one of my favorite rides in both Disney parks now. So if you get the chance, go ride the Incredicoaster.
What if you include Disneyland Paris in there?
It's still up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a ride there that might beat it.
No, I think it's still top 5.
Okay. All right, and if you're wondering why we didn't do any rides in this, we are going to do a full episode where we do the rides. We're going to talk about the rides that are at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and we might even throw in some Disneyland Paris there and rank where they fall, who does
Which
it
is
better,
yeah.
why it's better, all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
If you have opinions about anything we said, make sure to go find us on social media. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we want to hear your opinions. When we post the reel with this episode, comment on it. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't care. I take it like a champ.
Yeah, you got enough heat from like you said, from the lightning lane, so you're fine now.
People are still commenting on that one.
They are. It's really funny.
That was months ago. That
I
was
know.
like May or June.
I know.
And I'm
People
still
are
getting
still
yelled at for that one. And I don't care. So some people are agreeing with me,
Uh-huh.
but some people are not.
Some people are very much not.
It's fine. I come from a big family. I can take it. I've been told I was wrong my whole life. You think your comment on Instagram's gonna get me? I'm the third kid.
But that's all we have for today. Like Gina said, go follow us. Give us some stars on Spotify. If you want to find us on Instagram, we are Spill the D Podcast. And Spill the D Pod on TikTok. So go message us there. Like she said, let us know if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right.
Oh, yeah, wait. And you can also comment right on Spotify now. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave us a comment right here, right now, if you think we're wrong or right. So go ahead and do that. Or on the YouTube, on 407 and Beyond Vacation Co's YouTube channel, where this video will be, you can leave a comment on and tell us right or wrong. What's your opinion? What's better and why?
Yeah. But that's all we have for you this week. So until next time, we will
see you at the castle.